you through good morning. I'll be talking you through a few things that are worth sharing around Impact Stack. So today we'll be talking exclusively about the next generation of Impact Stack, so the new version of our platform. My name is Florian. I'm the product manager and co-founder at Impact Stack. And before we get into any of the features and any of the details, I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you. As you know, that we as an organization, our role in creating change is to provide a good platform that you can use. But at the end of the day, it's down to you as organizations using the platform, how you're going to create impact. So without you and your supporters, there is no impact in Impact Stack. It would just be technology. So thank you to all of the organizations using the platform. It's really like an honor to work with all of you day to day. So, what we'll be talking about today is we'll start with a quick introduction about what is the next generation of Impact Stack and how can you get it. Then we'll be talking about new features that we've released. And the third point will be that we've got a few feature ideas, especially around the advocacy tool set, which is the area where most of the development time is going towards right now. And for that, we'd really like your input. So we'll have a session where you can vote which of the things, which of these feature ideas we should prioritize in development in the coming months. And last but not least, we'll have a live demo of the system. So stick around for that if you'd like to see the system in action. It's always nice to talk about features in theory, but at the end of the day, once you see it, you'll really get a sense of what it's like to use Impact Stack and to use Next Generation. As Jess has already mentioned, please use the Q&A panel if you've got any questions, because that way we can keep track of questions in a fairly orderly way. If you need to reach out to Jess in the chat because you need some technical assistance or anything else, feel free to do that as well. So let me get started. This bit is to some of you it might be quite familiar, but bear with us. We just need to make sure that everyone has this background before we move into the new features. So for some of you, this might be quite familiar, but it'll be very short. So the next generation of Impact Stack is essentially our platform reimagined from scratch. It is like all the things that we've learned over the years, all the feedback that we've received from you, and many changes in the landscape of technology and internet technology have gone straight into a completely new platform. What we will keep and what we're keeping is the general technology strategy that we use for Impact Stack, and that is what we call the best-in-class strategy. What that means in practice is that Impact Stack is not going to be the platform that does everything. That will be your CRM system, your email marketing system, your tracking system. Impact Stack is a platform that's specifically designed to help you engage supporters, run advocacy campaigns, and raise funds. That is what we will always focus on. And to achieve those things, we will always integrate with other systems. So because we don't want to build everything, we have four things that are really important to us and that directly result from this strategy. The first point is to provide a great support experience out of the box. And when we say a great support experience and out of the box, we mean that you don't have to pay a lot for custom development to make sure that your pages look good. You don't have to like do a lot to make actions really engaging because all of that is built into the platform from scratch, and it's really easy to set up new actions and pages. Impact Stack integrates well with other tools that you might already be using that are well embedded within your technology landscape. So rather than trying to compete, we actually think it's a good thing to integrate and work together with a lot of other tools. The third point is that it's easy for you, so we want to make interfaces as smooth and easy to use as possible. And with this approach, we get to focus on fewer use cases. So that automatically makes the interface much cleaner and easier to understand. And the last point is that we've got a lot of increased technical flexibility through this approach. Now, if you think about Impact Stack, there's the top layer where you've got the pages, the actions, the donations, share asks, and all of that stuff. Then you have a special layer for integrating with email marketing systems because a lot of the mobilization that we do is obviously based around email, but that can be extended to other channels. And the last section is a deep integration with your CRM systems and other data flows, and also analytics and insights. What's new for existing clients who upgrade is that the data systems and data flows are new. That doesn't mean that you have to rethink your data flows. It just means that you will have more options, especially around how the integrations work. A lot of you might will already be using the new Mailchimp integration, so that is already the new data flows. What's also new is the action editor and how forms work, and this is a really like a really exciting part of the new system. I'll show you more in a second, and the page building experience. This is really so you can use an interface to easily build great pages that load very fast and have a lot of things going for them. So the way that we use like that we build the next generation of Impact Stack is that we replace one part at a time. Now, if you look at this landscape, you can see that we started with like all the green elements are the ones that where we already have a system in place that's being used by organizations as we speak. So a lot of the data side of things when it comes to email marketing and CRM integrations is already live. What's also available is the fast version of our advocacy toolset and landing pages and engagement actions. More about that later. So for new clients, depending on your requirements, you will already get the next generation of Impact Stack right from the start. So sometimes because we have a few clients who are considering migrating and who will be migrated in the coming year, to all the new clients, it's quite likely that you will start with the next generation of Impact Stack from day one. So for existing clients, there are two ways for you to get involved. The fast way is, and that's available at any point in time, you can work with us on what's called a new development pilot. That comes with a fixed price tag, but it allows you to launch a new type of action, a new type of tactic on top of Impact Stack next generation. And during the year 2026, you will get a standard migration. And this is true for everyone, and it's free of charge. So everyone will be migrated free of charge. And we will reach out to you as soon as we think that the technology platform is actually ready for you. So if we think that it meets your requirements, we will reach out to you and then we will work with you to schedule the migration. So stay tuned. We will reach out with a very specific plan for you as an organization if you're already an Impact Stack user. So thank you to all of the organizations who have already signed up or are about to launch on the next generation. Some of these organizations are long-time Impact Stack users who are migrating. Other organizations have actually started using Impact Stack next generation from scratch. So thank you to all of the organizations already on the platform. Your feedback day to day is really what helps us prioritize the roadmap and what allows us to make the platform a real success. So thank you. New development projects, just really briefly, those are ways for us to co-create new exciting tactics with you. So instead of going off and building technology in isolation, we would much rather work with one or two or a handful of organizations that are really ambitious and develop a new tactic with them. And then we build the technology for it and the organization can launch it. That allows us to learn a lot in the process, but it also allows you as an organization to really help co-create something and decide, make a lot of decisions about the details and how you would like a specific tactic to be implemented on Impact Stack. So with this option, again, you get to shape the scope of new features. You get to launch one exciting tactic that is tailored specifically to your needs and what your organization is looking to launch. You can get customizations in place with shorter timelines. because we've pre-selected a few of these tactics where we already have done some work to better understand the scope and what we can do. Of course, you can reuse these tactics again in future, and it also means you can keep using both versions of Impact Stack in parallel until the end of 2026. So for the entire year, if you already start with a new version, you can continue using the old version in parallel if you want to. Few quick examples. So with Trussell, we did the first curiosity gap action that allowed supporters to put in their postcode to see exactly how many food parcels were delivered to people in need in their constituency, and it also took them straight to a email to target action. So that's just an example of this using the data sets that you already have and the information and making that really local and really relevant for people. And you can display that on the page. Then we've got an international coalition with Compassion World Farming that uses Impact Stack's coalition and multi-tenancy features. We have another example of an interactive journey with St. Mungo. So this is an interactive storytelling device that allows supporters to kind of choose which path they want to take within the story. It's really an engagement action. And we've got engagement quizzes. So the first quizzes, a few more possibilities that we've got scoped out for these new development pilots. If you have thoughts or ideas about new tactics that you would like to discuss, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to see what we can make work. The way that new development pilots work, and this is the last bit, then we'll move on to new features, is there's a fixed budget. So we see that more as a contribution towards development because realistically, the budget to develop these features is going to be significantly higher. But we will use our own product budget to contribute towards that to make sure that the features that we're building are actually can be generalized and are really solid. The turnaround is between 1 and 3 months, depending on the type. It's scheduled based on capacity, so capacity is limited. If you're interested in launching a new development pilot, please do reach out soon because the capacity is filling up quickly. And these features will be generalized later. So we're starting off with these one-off versions of tactics that only you can reuse, and we will gradually turn these into generalized features that everyone can use, obviously with a bit of a delay. So it will take a while for these features to be generic. Um, yeah, again, feel free to reach out if you want to discuss any of these. So this is the new section. So what's new with Impact Stack Next Generation? There will be a few elements that I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've covered them before. But of course, the best way, again, to see them is to just stick around for the demo. There's only so much time. So this is a small selection of the things that we've developed in the past couple of months. But if you'd like to get a more extensive list or have a chat, you know where to find us. Always happy to talk. Let me start with talking about the landing pages for the exciting supporter experiences. So this is really we want to see landing pages not just as something that's just like a content management system. We want to see that as an opportunity for you to control every little aspect of the page and make it really exactly the way that you think is right for your supporters. So go way beyond just putting content on a page. We want to create options for you that make it easy and fast for you to create these lovely pages. Again, this is much easier to show during the demo. I'll just leave that bit for the demo. New form builder experience. This is the whole section where you can create actions and take control over your form fields. Where we're at in general with like the form builder, because this is relevant for all of the types of actions, is you can already easily drag and drop all kinds of fields onto your form and configure them, and you can do that on all devices. So it's fully responsive and everything. That is both the editing experience, of course, and the form itself. You have a set of basic fields for contacts. So any kind of structured information you want to capture about your supporters. But you can also add all sorts of HTML and content to your form, and you can do that without touching any of the code. So this is also true. Some people who do want to touch code, this is probably interesting for you. You can also load your own JavaScripts that way, and that is in a really secure way. So we've specifically built that into the platform, so you can put your own code on any form if that's something that you need to do. Uh, we have a complete action editing interface. So this interface allows you to uh, control different aspects of your action, but also the thank you email and things like that. And we've worked on the first additional fields. So an example would be postcode, but there are a few more fields that I'm going to show you today that are new and why they're special. And what we're still working on are some of the more advanced fields, and especially the conditional functionality. So that allows you to show and hide the different form fields based on the user input. The form builder is really lovely and super easy to use. So you have these pre-configured form fields on the left-hand side, and you can drag it in, and then you can click edit. Uh, and it's super easy. You can reorder fields and place them really flexibly. One of the exciting new fields is the phone number field. Now, you might ask, what's so exciting about a phone number field? It feels very standard. And yes, of course, Impact Stack 1 also has a phone number field, but this is significantly more user-friendly and much more powerful. So first of all, it allows you to pre-format the phone number. So it makes it much easier for supporters to just put in a phone number that will be correct in internet, like a correct phone number, by choosing the country. And when you choose the country, you can start typing and it will give you the country, and that way you know the country code. But people can also just type in the phone number without any of the codes, and it will auto correct to a version with the country code and everything based on the predefined setting. So that is just a very, very smooth and nice user experience, and it will definitely increase the the number of valid phone numbers that you can collect with Impact Stack. A few more features here. You can choose a default country. That's really important for anyone, especially since a lot of you work only in one country, like such as the UK. You can decide to choose the country that auto completes for users. That's important for anyone who'd like to switch. So if users want to switch to a different country, it's often difficult to find these countries. So, especially if you work internationally or you want to capture phone numbers from different countries. Um, it autocorrects input from users. I've already mentioned that. And the last point is that you can actually hide the country flag. So if you only work in one country, there's not much point in showing in showing that option. So it will just automatically be the country that you choose as a default for the validation. So it's actually one of those features that sound very boring. If you ask me, it's just a field, but at the end of the day, it has a lot of very specific kind of choices within it and new features that make it so much nicer to use for supporters, and also give you the flexibility to just really control that experience. And the second example that I want to show you is the opt-in field. Now, we've always had opt-in fields that allowed you to set up the opt-in question, especially for email opt-in, in a number of different ways. But with the next generation of Impact Stack, we've really reworked the user interface in a way that it is significantly easier to use, because these opt-in related questions and generally legal questions are often very complicated, and a bit difficult to really get into, especially if you don't do it on a daily basis and you don't think about the logic of opt-ins every day. So with this, you have full control over your opt-in question. You can choose between multiple displays. So is this displayed as a radio or a checkbox, or do you use legitimate interest? And you can choose between multiple designs on how it's presented. And all this is easily doable by the interface. So again, no coding required or anything like that. and you can edit with confidence. So you know what the choice is, and it really clearly labels what each of the choices are. So the output, these are just a few examples of different ways that you can get the opt-in to look like. You can choose radios, you can choose checkboxes, you can control the default value of all of them. So that means if you want to have a pre-checked checkbox based on the new legislation in the UK, you can do that. If you want to have a legitimate interest checkbox where people actually have to check the box to not subscribe, you can also do that. And of course, the radios. What you can also do is that you can easily activate a warning. So if the supporter chooses no, you can show a message that you can just type. So again, no code required for this. All you need to do is just uh, type the message, and once you've typed the message in here, it will automatically show up as soon as the user chooses no. So this is a very nice way to turn something that we already had on Impact Stack 1 as a feature into something that has a lovely interface and is actually built in from scratch. And the post opt-in field will work in the same way and is about to be released. So stay tuned for that. If you're already using Backstack next generation, it will be released with the next version. And it has the same options. So for post opt-in, you can do the same things with it. The most important part that I want to focus on today, again, there are lots of different features and changes and improvements in various different areas of the software. But the thing that I really want to focus on today is message to target and email to target. So we have released the first version of a system that allows you to run your advocacy actions, and it's very close to feature complete. So we're already preparing the launch of the first actions, but in short, what you can do is we've introduced what we call the message interface. Now, anyone using Packstack 1, this will look somewhat familiar to you, but the general idea is it's super easy to add tailored and personalized messages as pre-written messages for your target. So if you do an action like targeting MPs or targeting counselors or targeting corporations, you can create a default message, and then it's super easy to create other messages based on that that are more bespoke that really just have the right kind of messaging in that in the copy for each of the targets. So again, that's super easy, and I'll also show you in the demo. What's important to mention here is that it's also very easy to tailor messages based on any of the data that you have. So any information that's in the data set, you can use that to tailor. So whether that is the name of the person, the constituency name, the party, anything like that. And this can also include your own data columns. So if you want to include your own data columns for filters, you can do that. These data columns would be uploaded via the support team, but it's actually very straightforward. So you'll just get a CSV file and you can put in your own values, and then the support team will upload that for you, and it will immediately show up. So custom data like these data columns are treated like any other data that we have about targets. One of the nice things about this is that we have autocomplete for almost every feature in here. So you don't need to guess what the target is. You don't need to remember the exact spelling of each constituency. You can just start typing, and you will automatically see the list appear that is in the data set. Some of the data sets, as you know, have a lot of have hundreds or thousands of entries. If you think about councils, if you want to filter out a specific council based on name, uh, yeah, being able to just start typing and you see all the values right in front of you, that is exactly how this should work. So we're quite proud of this bit. You can also already do a personalization with Impact Stack 1, but on Impact Stack 2, we've just built an interface that makes it so much easier. So there are two ways that you can add tokens to the message. One is you can just choose it from the list. Now, this list on Impact Stack 2, it kind of sits underneath all of the fields. Here, for every single field where you can add tokens, you will have this little icon, and you can choose whether to add data from the form, so what the user has submitted, or data from the target dataset. So anything that's in the target dataset, again, including your own custom columns. You can either choose that from the list, or you can just start typing. If you start typing the symbol for these tokens, so two curly brackets, it will automatically show you the whole list for auto completion. So if you're used to the system, this is just a significantly faster way to be able to add tokens. And of course, you can also exclude targets. And we've made a few small improvements on the next generation as opposed to the current version. So when you exclude targets, you can show a message, and this message is full HTML, so you can format it and you can add links and things like that. You can also add tokens. So if you wanna personalize that display, you can. Any information from the form and from the data set can be used. And you can add a redirect. And the redirect is really special because you can also add all sorts of data to that redirect. So that way you can personalize the next page. An example would be if you know that one particular target doesn't really engage with emails, they don't really respond, but they do respond to tweets or some other channel, then you can redirect supporters and ask them to take action in a different way for one particular target. But of course, you could also exclude all sorts of people for various reasons. The next bit about the message to target and email to target feature is that you can edit the form field and you can really customize it. So as you can see here, this is an example of an MP action, but it's on the form builder. You can put it in place. You can edit it, and there are lots of options there in terms of how it's displayed and how it works, depending on the type of data set that you're using. So, in summary, what you can do is you can collect messages and then deliver them to targets in various ways, or you can email them directly. Both of these features are available as we speak. You can use political data sets or your own custom data sets. Right now, we don't have an interface yet for you to upload your own data sets, but the support team will do that for you. Like if you, until we have an interface, we will take care of that. But for political data sets, you can just choose them like you do in Impact Stack 1. You can create tailored messages based on any data that we have. So whatever it is, whether that's form data or data set, some information from the data set. You can easily use tokens for personalization. And within those tokens, you can do all sorts of creative stuff to really make those messages stand out. You can exclude targets and redirect, and this is super useful for some use cases. And this is important. Email sending and the replies to these emails are actually handled well. Now, anyone who's joined our recent event with SMK about emailing MP specifically, and you might have also seen the report that we put out. Uh, our system actually handles these kinds of sending and replies really well, and we were quite surprised that actually MPs struggle a lot with messages from various platforms. So the reason why I mentioned this is because it's actually a quite complicated system, but it operates entirely in the background. So in most cases, you don't even think about it. So this is worth highlighting here. There are a lot of other smaller improvements. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of like a few that I thought might be worth mentioning, but there's so many of them. Again, we don't have time for all of this. Just really quickly, smart tagging. We introduced a new system where every action will automatically receive an action ID. So in this case, the action ID is 28, so it's A28. And this ID will automatically synchronize to all other systems. So it's just a quick way for you to have segmentation done for you, so you don't have to think about it. Of course, like you already know from Impact Stack 1, you can add your own tag with your own label, and that will also appear as, for example, in Mailchimp, it will appear as a native tag on the supporter record. So this is kind of the best of both worlds because you have the automated thing that you can always go to, and you know this segment by the point that you want to use it will be available in whatever system that you've got integrated. But if you want to, you can use the free tags to just assign a label that's more makes more sense to you or is more readable. We've got the new tracking layer that integrates with Google Tag Manager. If you have other tag managers or other tracking systems, feel free to reach out. We can customize this, but for now, it works with the Google Tag Manager, and it sends events for things like form start, form submit. So when someone starts interacting with the form, someone has submitted the form, someone has provided an opt-in, and the click on the share buttons. So these are the kinds of things that you probably want to track in your web analytics tool. It's very similar to what we have in Impact Stack 1, but it's a bit more flexible in a few ways. So if you're really into tracking, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk. We have an updated version of the Salesforce integration. So this is a Salesforce app that's super easy to install and that now contains a lot more fields. So it just contains a lot more data, even things like the constituency name and the MP name for every contact that we have where we have the postcode. So anything that with any data that we have, any data that we enrich, we can synchronize. And you can set that up yourself or with paid help from an implementation partner. And there's just a fixed monthly fee that's pretty low that allows you to use this app with one of the implementation partners we work with who will do the maintenance for you. Uh, we've got built-in spam prevention. And this is really great because it comes with multiple layers. So every form has an invisible captcha. So it's not the kind that users have to deal with. It's not the kind where that comes with a lot of accessibility problems. It's actually completely hidden and going on in the background. And it will already prevent the vast majority of spam and bot attacks. But when if you notice that you are under attack and some things are coming through, you can actually act and you can turn the invisible capture to be more difficult. So again, you can work with us to increase the protection when needed, and then we can drop it again. So this is really flexible. And if you need another layer, you can still use Google ReCAPTCHA on top of that. So that is another option if you absolutely need it. So we have a lot of these different layers that will help you keep your actions free from spam. So thank you. That was it for the first section. And we're now gonna take a few questions before I will share some of these feature ideas where I would like you to vote on it.
Thanks, Florian. We've got a few questions in. First, I'll put a quick one, hopefully, from Andrea about tracking. So, can Impact Stack work with a different analytics platform, not Google Tag Manager, for example, Plausible?
We don't have an out of the box integration with Plausible, but the major like what we've built is an event tracking layer. So that is a system that we have built that basically captures all of these events, and then it's pretty easy to translate them into events for various different platforms. So if you just want to track page views, of course you can always embed a tracking script on Impact Stack pages. But if you want to use the event tracking, we would have to work with you to map these events. But again, the big piece of work that we've done, and that is also a really solid foundation for all kinds of integrations, is this layer in between that already takes care of all the event management and collecting all the events. And whether it sends it to Google Tag Manager or another platform is actually the smaller piece of work.
Thanks, Florian. So, question from Chiazon. Wondering if we would be able to have a donation form not appear on the first page second or any later page, I've recently had a situation at work where we need the donation form to be a voluntary donation while registering for a free event, but I've not been able to work that out. Is there room for anything like that?
So that sounds a bit like the voluntary donation. If it if it's part of the same form and the same sign up, that is something that we would have to explore. What we currently offer is the option to have an action, and then you can have an optional donation form on the thank you page. For example, thank you page overlays is one of the options, but as you know, if you've used Impact Stack 1 before, this is the kind of thing that are built into the platform. Right now, we don't have a donation we're actually building the donation features into the next generation of Impact Stack later in the coming year. So if that is a feature that you are particularly keen on, do reach out. I'd be happy to have a chat because that way we can possibly include it in the scope for donation pages.
That's great. That sounds like a client care chat between me or Ed and Chiazon. So we'll follow up
Mm,
that separately.
thank you.
Aidan had a question about regional petitions, but I think it may be partially addressed by the next section. So I'm going to hold that question back for the end because we're cracking through the time. So let's move on. There'll be another round of questions before after this next section. So back to you, Florian.
All right. So, as mentioned, we would like some input from you to get a sense of what we should prioritize on the roadmap. We have now released the first version of the advocacy toolset, but we are continuously working on it and improving it, of course. So, here are a few ideas. Some of them are already possible in one way or another. Um, but we like if you really want to use these, it would be great to get your input so we know that we make those easier to use and we provide nicer interfaces for it and things like that. So the headline would be better message to target in general. As mentioned, some of these are already possible with Impact Stack 1. Some of these are already possible with Impact Stack 2. But the more input we can get from you, the more we can understand like where to invest our resources. The first question is about the delivery mechanism. So we thought of a few different ways to really rework how we deliver these emails to targets. So one option would be to only send the messages that have actually been personalized to targets directly, and the remaining messages are sent in a weekly digest. So you can imagine that like the typical action is someone submits a form, tag and I don't know, messages the MP, and the email is sent, right? So that's what we already do. That's what we all know. One option would be to say, has this message been personalized? If the answer is yes, then the email is sent right away. So it goes to the bottom. If the answer is no, it will be collected, and then once a week, all of these messages that have been collected will be delivered in one email. So that way we just lower the number of emails that are sent to targets. We can highlight the ones that are actually personalized but we still transmit all the messages so the target can respond. Another change in the delivery mechanism would be drip sending or scheduled sending. So instead of sending the email right away, again, this is what we do already. Someone submits the form, the email is sent. Uh, we could do something like wait for office hours or basically wait with the sending until a certain period of time, like wait before until the day before the vote in the House of Parliament and then send them all at once, something like that. Or we could do drip sending, so we collect all the messages and then we check has this target already received uh, has the target received less than 5 emails today? And if they have not, another email will be sent, and as soon as it reaches 5, it will wait for the next day, right? So that way we spread out the messages over a longer period of time, and we can control what the maximum number is that one particular target would receive each day. Another option would be to collect messages and hand them over in a different way. So this is a classic way to, again, just collect all the messages and then provide better tools for the handover, like handing them over via email in one go or in-person handover, so you can somehow extract all the messages in a format that makes sense to hand over in person, hand over to a single email inbox, uh, project onto a building, or localized petition hand-in. So there's a specific download that you can do that allows you to generate a number for each specific target, and you can basically hand it in like a petition. So this is another one of these ideas in terms of delivering the message, but not necessarily sending each of the emails by email to the target. The second area is making personalization even easier. So as you could see, it's already quite easy to do this in Impact Stack. You can do a lot of message personalization, but there are a few ways that we can think of that you could do that even, like make this even better. So different forms of personalizing the message, like imagine like a simple radio field or a checkbox that leads to a change in the message to the target. So this example from Trussell might be a checkbox that says, I've used a food bank before. And if the user has checked this box, a sentence will be added to the message. So that's one way to tailor it without the supporter actually having to draft a message. And another example would be like a button that serves you a bunch of different draft messages that you can browse, or like a tips for your message button. And when you click it, there's an overlay, um, and it asks you very simple questions. And depending on your answers, it will insert different paragraphs or sentences into your message. So again, just a different interface that means people don't have to type to actually personalize the message. The next idea that we've had scoped out for quite a while is the target pledge system. So this is a way for the target to actually respond. You can imagine it like every time you do a message to target campaign, there's a form where targets can pledge to support or they can publicly respond. Once they've done that, you can filter who has pledged in the messaging interface. So that way you can have a different message for people who have already pledged than for people who should pledge. You can have a public page that shows all the targets and the status, like have they responded or not, and the message from the targets if they responded publicly. That could also be sent to supporters in a way. So you can imagine it like in the case of MPs, there would be an email to MP action. The email to the target would be sent. Then the target would click on a link in the email, and they would have their own form where it says pledge now at the bottom right, where they can state their opinion, and then it would lead to a public display on the website where you could see, oh, who has actually pledged, who has not. You could filter and things like that. And of course, this could also just be an email response back to supporters. So it's a way for targets to respond to supporters outside of their usual systems. And then we've got a few small innovations that we thought would be interesting to mention. So supporter data enrichment. Now, imagine you have all of the target information ready when you start sending the email. So that means you could send a link to a localized landing page that already has information about the target on it and with local stats, for an example. And you can have everything pre-filled so the supporter can take action right away. And a degree of that we already do because you can it auto enriches data with things like the constituency name and MP name. But what you could do with this, if you took it to the next level, is you could say if that information is available for this particular supporter, then you could say tell your MP and put the name of the MP in the subject line, things like that. So this could be really nice. And if someone clicks on the link in the email, they would land on a page that tells them something about their specific constituencies, like there are 37 schools that are impacted in your constituency, and that way you can contextualize the call to action. So localized landing pages is also something where we have like a fast version that you can use to display these. as part from the Curiosity Gap action. But again, if you think this whole use case would be particularly interesting, please vote for it. And the pre-filling from the action, again, of course, we have pre-filling, but this would go a step further because it would pre-fill with data from the target data set. That's the interesting bit. Now, custom data columns, I've mentioned this before. You can already add custom data columns to any data set. But right now that works through a CSV file that you send to the support team. So it does require depending on how much support time you've already used during that month, it may go over your limit. So it may come with like a small cost. But what we're proposing here is adding an interface to that. So you can upload your own data via an interface. And all the bits that are circled, you can already do right now. So examples of what you could do if you had an interface, and you would probably use this more, is you could group targets using your own data, and use that in the filters, use that in the tokens, anything like that. Use custom data columns to create more tailored messages. So if you have local data that you could just put that in a message, like the number of schools that we just saw in the other example. Use the custom columns to exclude targets, and you could also insert that data into any of the messages. So the bit that's new here is really, should we build an interface for this upload? Some examples are the food bank data that I just showed you earlier, where Trussell uses information about the food banks based in each constituency. So that's really, really nice. But you could also think of members of a particular committee that you want to target, or the number of how many people are affected in a particular region, how many people are affected and by a certain cut or a change in policy. So these are the examples. And again, with the reason why we're asking for your input is so we can prioritize our roadmap. We want to build things that you will actually end up using, and you can help us do that by voting. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Florian. So now's your chance to tell us what you think of some of these ideas. We would love to know your comments in the chat, but we're also going to launch a poll in just a second, if I can get the system to work. So our closing poll. We've got a question for you. So, which of the following innovations can you imagine making a real difference to your campaigning? So, we've set out a number of different things that we could build into the next generation of the software, but we really want to know which ones that you really, really would like to see. Now, this poll allows you to say yes to all of them. Doesn't restrict how many things you can say, but we'd really like to ask you to prioritize. So, what's your top three? Which are the ones that you're like, yep, we can really see ourselves using this, and this will really help us work out where we should invest our attention. So which of the following innovations can you imagine making a real difference to your campaigning? Ability to deliver some messages or the non-personalized messages as a weekly digest, drip sending, scheduled sending, prepared formats for message handover. So those are the kind of local petition hand-ins that Aidan was asking about before. Support to being able to personalize the message based on a form checkbox, support to being able to click to add pre-drafted paragraphs, a target pledge system, localized data on landing pages for supporters, ability to add your own data columns to a data set. So obviously we can do that for you at the moment, but would it make a real difference to you to be able to do that yourselves? Something else? Pop suggestions in the chat. And obviously if you're not a campaigner, feel free to say, actually, I don't know. Give you a few minutes to engage with that. Okay, just waiting for a couple of people to participate. I know there's a lot to read there, a lot to think about. Choose your three top choices. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, one, share the results. Okay, so not a strong not a strong push for us there, Florian, in terms of what people would like to see. So a real spread about the level of interest in these different areas, which obviously is great to know that we're looking at lots of things that people are interested in. But this is really valuable. If you have reflections after this, if you have questions after this, please do reach out to us via email. We would love to set up a chat. We'd love to talk you through kind of what we're thinking of doing. But this is really valuable input for us to help us work out where we should be focusing our attention. Okay, we're running short on time, sadly. So I don't think there are any outstanding questions in the Q&A or in the chat. So do drop us a line if you have any questions after the event. I imagine there's lots to process. We will be sharing the video recording and the slides with everyone who signed up. So you'll be able to kind of go back through that at your leisure and follow up if you wish. We are going to be sharing a full demo. So if you want to see all those great new features that Florian was just showing, you'll be able to see them live in action in a few minutes' time. So we're going to keep the call open. So feel free to just step away and come back, or leave the call and come back again. You'll be able to come and go freely. But we'll be running that. We were saying from 11, but let's give ourselves 5 minutes. So we'll restart at 3 minutes past. So feel free to step away and join us again just after 11 o'clock if you would like to join us for that demo. Everybody else, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll get the resources and the recording to you as soon as possible this afternoon. Thanks very much.
Thank you, and see you in a sec.